We hope you enjoy The Magicians, The Other Man by Rachel Lawson. Hello boy, you look upset. Who do you have to kill today? You look like it's a really bad person, said Fred Alexander, seeing the face of his serial killer son who had just teleported there. He looked murderously livid as he walked up to his father holding a newspaper. I know you don't stay dead. I'd kill you if you could stay dead, shouted Lakelandite. What have I done now? Asked Fred nervously. The son pushed the paper into Fred's hands. Fred looked at it and looked shocked. Mum is having a panic attack, shouted Lakelandite. Fred looked even worse. He felt embarrassed and like mud. The paper said, "The Emperor picks a bride, his grandson's." On it was a picture of him looking amorous with honor, his grandson's pregnant wife. Lakelandite King hit him in the nose, giving Fred a bloody nose. "Ow!" cried Fred, pulling out a handkerchief to absorb the blood, feeling he deserved it for being so careless and hurting his wife. "You know she's my wife?" said Fred, pinching his bleeding nose. Fred was a time traveler born as his grandson. "That's why I'm angry. You should have protected her," said Lakelandite. "We thought we were alone," said Fred, remembering when the photo would have been taken by the place in the picture. "You obviously weren't, you blind old grouch," said Lakelandite shortly. "Obviously," Fred agreed sadly. "Do you actually think I enjoy having to see you together like that?" stated a disgusted son. "It wasn't as bad as it could have been," said Fred. "You! Don't make me think," snapped Lakelandite, trying not to imagine it getting worse, but failing. He looked ill. "Where is Blake?" asked Fred of his younger self, who was also a time traveler, who was posing as his grandson. "He's looking after Mum," said Lakelandite. "I should go see her," said Fred. "No, half the press in town are picketing her house," said Lakelandite. "I could teleport there," said Fred. "There is no one the press want to see there more than you," said Lakelandite. "Oh yes, her house is a fishbowl," said Fred sadly. "I don't think that your seeing her will help," said Lakelandite. Fred was at home. He left to go to work outside his house. He found the other half of the press in town. They saw him as the game to hunt. He felt like a hunted animal. They were asking him questions and acting like he had to answer them. "Are you having an affair with your grandson's wife? Are you the father of her unborn baby? Did you actually think you'd get away with having an affair with your grandson's wife? Did her husband know you were having an affair with his wife?" The press shouted at him. "Please let me through. I have to go to work," was all Fred said as he tried to get to his car. The answer to their questions, if he cared to answer them, was yes, but Fred wasn't a fool enough to tell them. He arrived at work at a theater in the city, expecting trouble. He got it. He was a famous stage magician. There were murmurs when he appeared on stage. But he didn't care about it. There was a bigger problem. They were his partner in his act, not talking to him off stage. It hurt him a lot. But if he spoke to him, he knew it would be too painful for them both. His partner Val was Fred's son and Blake's father, and he was a good father. Not that Val knew Blake was Fred. Val, who had been a good son, now treated Fred with disgust and annoyance that he'd betray his own son, Fred's grandson. Fred felt this as a knife to the heart, and was so distressed, he spoke to him. "Val, we have to talk. I can't hold back the truth from you any longer," said Fred. "How could you do this to my son? Your own grandson, he loves his wife, and you stole her and made him think your baby is his. I am very angry with you," said Val. "It is not what you think. It's, stammered Fred. "Tell me your excuses. I won't believe them," said Val shortly. "You're not the only one angry with me. Lakelandite wanted to kill me. But he knows my secret, so he didn't try to kill me," said Fred through tears. "Secret?" said Val curiously. I've wanted to tell you 1,000 times since I found out myself, but I couldn't tell you, said Fred nervously. What is it, Dad? Asked Val, not sure what he was talking about. But Fred was so distressed. Anna is my wife, said Fred. He was having a problem talking directly. No, she is Blake's wife, said Val. I found out who I was before I was Fred, said Fred. What? You never knew who you were. You just appeared with amnesia. That's good for you to find out where you came from, said Val. Dad? Said Fred, hugging his father. No! There is no way in hell that you are my son. Blake, you are my dad. And I've seen you and him in the same place many times, said Val, pulling away. It hurt Fred greatly, leaving his father's arms. I have no other option, said Fred, weeping. Dad, put down that knife, said Val, trying to wrestle a knife from his suicidal father. You won't live if you kill yourself, said Val, being knocked aside to see his father stabbing himself in his heart and fall to the floor dead. You fool! You mad, deluded fool, said Val, crying over his dead father. There was a knock on the door of the dressing room. Come in, I need help, cried Val to the knocker. The door opened, and Val heard a swish of a skirt. He didn't look at the visitor. He lost his mind and picked up a knife. I tried to disarm him, but he knocked me away and stabbed himself, miss, said Val. The visitor bent into Val's sight. Miss? Hissed the visitor. Val fell over backwards in shock. Oh my God! Cried Val. Hello, said a man Val knew and never expected to see. Need a hand? Asked the visitor. It's impossible, said Val in denial. The new stage manager walked into the room. Mortimer, why are you here? Asked Dante, the stage manager and assistant to Mortimer, the king of the Grim Reapers. Then Dante saw Fred. Want me to take him? Asked Dante, who was a Reaper too. No, he's mine, said Mortimer, who pulled the knife out of Fred. Mortimer touched Fred and disappeared into Fred, who healed and woke up. Fred stood up and said, Do you believe me now? Since when have you been, Fred? Asked Dante. From the beginning, said Fred. I didn't know that for a while, though. I wondered how Fred appeared in the afterlife alive that time you were looking for Lakelandite. He's your son. And wait, so is he? Said Dante. How are you, your grandfather? I don't know, said Fred. Dad, you're Blake. Thanks for telling me. But could you have skipped the Harikari? Said Val. I had to die to show you who I was, said Fred. That's why Lakelandite couldn't kill you, said Val, remembering what happened in the room. It was hard to believe, even with him coming back to life like Blake. You saw the paper too, I take it, said Val. Yes, I don't commit Harikari for nothing, Fred said. Did you see anyone in the room who could have taken your photo? Asked Dante. We didn't see the photographer, we were alone, in a closed room, Fred said. How come you didn't see the photographer? Asked Val. I don't know, said Fred. I think your photographer was a magician like us, said Dante. Why would a magician want to hurt you? Asked Val. Not many people knew about us, said Fred, a frown growing on his face as a thought came to his mind. What is it, Blake? Asked Val. I smell a prankster, said Fred. Prankster? Val said. Oh, him, said Dante. A dimension away, a man looked nervously into a glowing pond, watching them in its waters. Tempus, said Fred in the waters. Tempus, the man gulped nervously. Tempus, I want to talk to you, said Fred. A portal in time opened in the dressing room. Fred walked in it and walked out of a portal where Tempus was. Hi, boy, said Fred to his other son, Tempus. Hello, Dad. Is everything going well? Asked Tempus timidly. Stop playing the innocent, boy. You know what is going on, said Fred. Looking at the water, he saw Val and Dante talking in the pond. Gotcha, said Tempest nervously. That you did indeed, boy, said Fred. Can you undo it now? Your step-mum's having a panic attack. Fix it for her. At least you had your laugh. Okay, said Tempest. I'll send a note to the press saying it was an A. I made a prank picture. Thanks, said Fred. Seriously, I will go back in time and tell myself the prank won't work, and I won't do the photo prank. I regret it. Now Mum's really upset, said Tempest. And he did. And time reverted. As it was, no one knew what happened before when Fred returned to where he left. Only Fred and Tempest knew what happened. Fred visited Anna and Blake, and their house had no reporters there. Anna was well and was happy to see her husband.